Hello and welcome to Newport County A.F.C, a FIFA 15 series on the PlayStation 4, where we take rookies and regens and try and make ourselves a side that can take on the Champions League. This is a special edition of Season 1 and Season 2 recap, so you can get straight into Season 3. So you can see the first player that we signed to our youth scout was Alexandre Arnos, and he was from the catalogue where you send out and try and find some talent straight away. So Alexandre Arnos was our first player that we signed up. A couple more players here we had a look at in the scout report. We did eventually end up signing both of these guys just for a bit of squad depth in Season 1 while we were trying to replace the players from the Newport County squad. Here we found Matthias Blomqvist, and if you've been watching this season, you know what he has been doing of late, and these other two guys didn't make the cut. Then we had a scout report from England, and the only real player to look at here was Carl Hobbs. Ryan Wilson and Simon Weltdale also got a gig, but Hobbs is probably the main attraction out of this lot here, and the other guys were unsuccessful in making the Newport County cut. So you can see they had some pretty good potential, but you can see later in the season what happened to these kids. Yeah, we pretty much rejected most of them. Carl Hobbs has been having a few games of late. He's sitting on the bench, but he is still a valuable part of the Newport County setup at this stage. Ryan Wilson and Simon Weltdale are on the fringe. Then we had a scout report from Scotland, and there wasn't a lot within this, but we were looking for a goalkeeper. And if we look down here, Steve Dobby and Xander Thomas, I think, were the two that we picked up out of this bunch. Well, we didn't really get a lot of goalkeepers early. Xander Thomas looked alright, so we signed him up. And Steve Dobby, I think we just left to see what would happen. Then we came back with another one from Scotland, and there was pretty much nothing except for Steve Dobby. And just the fact that we needed a keeper was enough for me to go, okay, let's sign this guy up and see what happens. He actually got a bump. He did have a potential of 80, and then the second time we went in, his potential had actually increased to 83. So when you are youth scouting, just make sure you leave them in there for a couple of months and just see what happens. Okay, so our first squad report, we had Arnos, May, Ishizaki, Hobbs, Blomqvist, Isaacson, Wilson, Weltdale, Dobby, and Thomas. And all these guys later down the track pretty much got a contract with Newport County. You can see some of them. I mean, you really have to look after these players and wait for their bumps and see what happens as they progress. Some of these guys, look, Hobbsy's dropped a little bit there, but we weren't sure what we're going to do. So we definitely wanted to sign up Alexandre Arnos, and if you've been watching the series, you know what he's turned into so far. Ishizaki, he's a bit of a fringe player at the moment. We did offer him a contract. We were looking for some more defensive-minded players. And then the rest of them didn't really look too good. But we were looking for a goalkeeper, so we had to give Steve Dobby a crack at the big time. We gave Hobbsy a run, even though he only had 75. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of these guys were just coming in to fill spots in the squad because we wanted to. The whole point of this series, if you've been watching any of the Cutsy Gaming series, SGH Sports, Barmer Strucker 9, these kind of guys that have set up this kind of series, early on you want to get as many players in as you can and get rid of basically all of the existing players within the club. So you can see Arnos here starts as a 70, and he was our first key marquee pickup. And he had some really nice stats, and we're really looking forward to using this player. So for a rookie, I mean 16, can play a various amount of positions. He didn't have all the stats we wanted, but so early on in the series, you had to take what you could get, and Hobbsy was a 62. He had some okay stats as well. His potential was only 75, but you know, we had to fill the voids and get as many of these youth players in. And I mean, you're getting him in for nothing. So if you can hold on to him for a year or two, send him out on loan if you need to, let them progress a little bit in potential, and then there's a bit of money there to be made. And that's what really sets up this series, being able to sell a lot of these younger guys. Blomfit's there, you can see he's a 61 when he started out. And if you can sell these guys off in 2 or 3 years where they've, you know, maybe gained 7 or 8 rating, you're looking at least making, you know, 500 grand, $1 million. And that's going to really set you up for sending out quality scouts and bringing back more quality players in your youth setup. So you can see the side as it was sort of progressing there. We brought some of these rookies in. And at the end of the first season, we had a decent handful of players that would go forward with Newport County and set us up for our progression as we try and build a side to take on the Champions League. Izuzaki was a 58, Dobby is a 59 there. So Dobby came straight on as our keeper was only a 51 at that stage. Then we went on to the free agency list to see if there was any rookies we could find, and we found this guy, Peter Richardson. He looked pretty good, and here he is, Trahore Kone. He was a 67 and he was a free agent. Slowly on the improve. Arnos to take the corner here. Into the box. Kone, yes! Kone picks up the dregs and slots it in past the keeper. He tells the lads about it. This is my first game, you motherfuckers, and I'm going to score plenty more of these goals. You better look out. Oh, look at that. That's a lovely clinical finish there from the big man. Somehow he's just tapped it on the edge of the boot. No one fucking moved. And Kone gets his first goal for the Newport County club. Oh, what an acquisition this guy's going to be. I've got a feeling there's going to be big things from this boy. And that is Trahore Kone, his first goal in League 2 football. Then we went and found Lewis Muriel. We did need some defensive players. Then we got a scout report here, and there was not, I think Anton Augustensen we signed up eventually, and the rest was pretty much lackluster. Then we had a scouting report from Scotland, and Craig Dingwall, well, this guy looked pretty good, 6'6" at 16. So we went ahead and signed him straight up. He hasn't really got a lot of first team football, but he has been able to fill a role when we've needed him. The rest of the crop was pretty average. We just thought we'd scout them for a little bit longer. Hobbsy! Push Hobbsy! Arnos! Yes! Arnos with his first goal for the club, I'm pretty sure. He's telling the boys, this is my first goal. We've pushed and pushed and pushed. Used a bit of brutal strength to get through there. Hobbsy's just absolutely hip and shouldered someone. Arnos has picked up the crumbs and got his first goal for the club in this Capital One match. And that's put us in front 1-0. Oh, yes, finally Arnos gets on the board. Hobbsy, what a run that was. And he's used every bit of his 15 or 16-year-old strength, which is pretty much fuck all, limp dick, nothing. But he still managed to push through, find Arnos as well, and we've absolutely taken the lead in this cup game. And that after so much relentless attack, I'm fucking stoked. So then we went through the list with the youth squad. So you can see that the list wasn't that big starting off the second season. We had a Russian, Artem Manikov, and we did go ahead and sign him eventually. He's still in the squad now. Kone, 90th minute. Hobbsy gets the rebound. Hobbsy ducks inside. Hobbsy! In the 90th minute! It's fucking Hobbsy! Hobbsy's come up for us, and he's got himself into the box. He says, yeah, polish me boot there, mate. That's the one that scored the goal. And in the 90th minute, we've come even in this J-Paint trophy. Look at this from Hobbsy. Ducks left, cuts back right, and left foot straight past the keeper. Don't know what the fuck the keeper was doing. Looked like he was taking a shit. But that's a good goal there from Hobbsy. And it's 1-1. And can we get it to go to extra time? Or can we score right now? Okay, then we had a scout report from Sweden again, and Augustinsson we did end up signing up. There wasn't else a lot in here except for the big man, Marcus Schwan. And Schwan, well, he looked pretty good. Potential of 94, and we signed him straight up. And he's still playing in the side at this stage. And the rest was pretty much rubbish, so we got rid of them all. Corner for Newport County. Here's Arnos into the box. Header. Kone! Yes! That puts us in the lead. There's a big header there from Kone. And you can't ask much more than that from your striker. He got big in the box. And that big Ivory Coast forehead has whacked it straight into the back of the net. And that's all you can ask from your striker. Look at that. That is sheer power and brilliance from the big man. And it was a lovely cross in from Arnos from the corner. And Arnos and Kone have combined to silence the crowd here at Sunderland. Chappie pushes inside. Here's Kone. Gets around a defender. Kone! And that's his second. Off the post again. Plays a little tune for him. That's 4-0 down. Accrington, what the fuck are you doing? This is a disgusting display. And Newport are all over you like a fat kid on a cupcake. Oh, Kone can't stop scoring. Beautiful. Delicious. Oh, can we get him the golden boot? So then we have a quick look at our youth squad as it was sitting in Season 2. You can see we had a few nice players there that were growing. Dan De Jong at 94 for a centre-back. He was another one of the send out and find me some good talent from the EA catalogue. A few of the guys started dropping off, but we just left them there. Ziggy McGregor was another goalkeeper that we were looking at, and you know that he's in the side now. We had another look at the Russian scout, and there wasn't really anyone except for Artem Manikov to take on board. And Manikov is still sitting on the list at this stage. He hasn't really hit that potential. And there wasn't anything really from Argentina. We did try scouting there a fair bit. England brought back nothing again. So this was the youth squad as it stood about halfway through the season. You can see there some pretty decent players. Manikov had already dropped off to an 86. Dingwall dropped down to 80. So you can see you sign them high potential. You haven't scouted them for long enough. And they do seem to drop down. Dan De Jong was still a 94 and looking really nice. Jason May's another one that's playing in the side at this stage. Marcus Schwan was still a 94, and I really was looking forward to using him. And Xander Thomas just dropped away really quick. And Ziggy McGregor was looking pretty decent for a keeping option. Finds Byrne. Byrne fires Kone. There's space here. He gets around. Kone into the box. Kone scores! And that's a goal for Newport County against Chelsea. Fuck you, Chelsea. Kone cannot stop scoring. This cat is unbelievable. Oh my fucking God. We are 1-0 up against Chelsea. I don't fucking believe it. It's the only shot we've had all game. Kone's found some space, got into the box and put it in the top left corner. Schwarzer had nothing. Oh my God. This is fucking insane. I've got fucking goosebumps. Absolutely. Oh man, Kone, you are a fucking gem. Holy shit, just before half-time, Newport County put the first nail in the coffin. And all I can say is, fuck you, Chelsea. You're getting what you deserve. Dobby. Come on, Dobby. High again. And Dobby saves it. Holy shit. And we are through to the semi-final. We have knocked Chelsea out. It's gone to a penalty shootout. And somehow, Dobby, this guy is an unbelievable legend. We went to Argentina again and found nothing, so there was not much luck in Argentina. We went back to England, and Andy Bingham, who was a 92, instantly dropped to an 80, so we decided not to sign him up. And there wasn't really a lot on this scout report worth buying into, and I mean that's what you get when you have 2-star scouts. Every now and then you're going to get something delicious come back, but most of the time it's going to be rubbish. So here's the youth squad as it stood, and you could see how the players were developing in the youth squad. Manikov there dropped down to an 86. Dingwall dropped to a 79, but he was 6'6". Dan De Jong was constant at 94, and you know he is the rock at the back currently for Newport County. So we had a lot of talent here. We're just waiting for the May. As you should know, on the 1st of May they do receive the bump, and that overall gets a nice little tasty jump. So you're better off just leaving them in there as long as you can, and if they can get to May and you get that bump, that'll really help you out. So finally we had something come back here from Argentina, and that was George Gavillion, and he is currently in the side at the moment, playing on a right mid sort of area. And so we were going to scout him longer, but it was the last chance to get a hold of him, so we signed him up. We had a quick look again at England. There wasn't a lot until we seen Lee Atkinson, and now he's a 94. He's in the squad right now, and he's progressing nicely, and he'll probably go forward with Newport County for a long time. And eventually we decided not to take Andy Bingham. So here was the youth squad close to the end of the season, and you can see what sort of potential these players finished up on. Manikov dropped down to 85 now. Dingwall sat steady at 79. Dan De Jong still a constant 94, 6'4" centre back, and he is an unbelievable acquisition that we found in the youth squad. George Gavillion went up to a 94 after we signed him, and that's what happens with youth scouting. I mean, if you scout properly, you can pick up some really nice players. Oh, Kone's been fucking ripped out from underneath his legs. And that is an absolutely poleaxing tackle there on Kone. They don't want him scoring any more goals. And Arnos with the free kick. Arnos dribbles it along the... What the fuck? How the hell did Arnos just score that? We haven't been able to score one free kick, and Arnos just dribbles one at the keeper. And somehow it's gone in, and that's an unbelievable goal there for Arnos. That's our first free kick we've scored. Let's have a look at this. Arnos, it's an absolute scrubber, and I don't know what the hell just happened then with the keeper. It's missed the wall. It's taken 3, 4, 5 bounces, and the keeper probably just thought, what the fuck is this? He hasn't even seen it. It's come in low, flying under the radar or some shit. And the keeper's just about killed himself on the side pole there as well. But that's our first penalty free kick, should I say, that we've scored. And Arnos gets his second goal for the season. So then we pretty much run out of money. So we had to send our scouts out to these really low-like countries. Saudi Arabia here really didn't bring us back anything too flash. But when you don't have money, you still got to send those scouts out and see what you can pick up. We went to Australia, and there was nothing there as well. And I guess you can't really expect much from these kind of countries, but every now and then, you do find a gem in the rough. And Japan was another place we went to, and there was pretty much nothing there as well at this stage. And it wasn't looking good for our scouts at this stage of the season. Then we had this guy pop up in Saudi Arabia, El Rashidi. And basically when you send out a scout for 10 grand and he comes back with a 94, you sign that guy straight up. Walid El Harib was another one. He was at 87. I thought I'd scout him a little bit further and see what happens. Carlson was in Australia. And Jack Brown, the keeper, we thought, Dobby had been doing an okay job. But, that kind of keeper we'll keep an eye on. And Beryl was in Japan. And there wasn't a lot here. Once again, it's just what you expect from sending scouts out to these kind of countries. So here was the final youth squad as it finished up at the end of season 2. And you can see we had quite a few players there. Some with some really nice potential. Dan De Jong stuck at 94, which is really nice. El Rashidi dropped a couple, went down to 91. Jack Brown, the Aussie, actually went up to 86. McFadden, 78. Jason May was at 89, so he dropped a couple. George Gavillion, see, he went 91, 94, and then down to 87. Lee Atkinson dropped down to 85. Schwan's at 92. Azanovic was shit. Simon Hewitt was okay. El Harib, and Ziggy McGregor was the other keeper that just sat there while we waited. So you can see at the end of the season we finished second. We did manage to gain promotion into League 1. And we'll just look at the goal scorers. Kone scored 30 in his debut season for Newport County. And looking into season 3, you can see exactly what he's done there. He scored 7 in the FA Cup. He scored 3 in the Capital One Cup. Assist-wise, Arnos had 9 in his debut season, which was really good for him. And we had a couple other guys just sort of rolling around. And Dobby with 24 clean sheets in his first season. We thought we were onto something, but we were wrong. Okay, guys, well, I hope that's caught you up, season 1 and 2. So now you can just jump straight into season 3. And I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you're here, it's because you've started late on this Newport County series, but you won't be disappointed. And getting into the start of season 3, I hope you'll be surprised at what we've come up with, where we're at, and what kind of delicious players we have generated. This is a Spain DK production for 2014.